It's all good in the neighborhood. Hero Music Without Boundaries. Thanks for listening today. Jeff Young behind the microphone, and I'm pleased. I'm really excited about the potential of this little segment we're about to feature. Right now, we're calling all musicians and creatives who want to make the most of their craft. We have a couple of folks that we think have some cool insights and topics we're going to discuss on marketing the creative mind. First, I'd like to introduce our friends, and then we'll jump into the details about an exciting workshop they're actually doing this Saturday in Las Vegas. Now, the thing is, if you can't make it to Las Vegas for this Saturday's workshop, you're definitely going to want to listen here because you're going to be able to walk away with some practical, real-world knowledge and stuff you can apply regardless of what type of creative area of the arts you're in. Talking to Dan and Tracy, I think even if you're not a musician or a performer, you're going to garner some cool knowledge for how to run your business and how to make the most of your life, and hopefully get some rewards as a result. So let me introduce first our guest, and we'll dive into the conversation. Dan Schinder, why don't you say hi to Planet Earth?
Hello, Planet Earth. Thank you for letting me stop by for a while.
I think it's going to be really exciting for our listeners. We have a lot of musicians, a lot of creatives that listen faithfully. So I feel like this is a cool reward for their eternal ears.
Well, I got to tell you, Jeff, after that intro, I'm ready to sign up for a class. Thank you.
Let me also introduce our good friend. We love her. Can I first say that you're Scott Coogan's wife, Scott, who you've seen drumming with Sherry and I in the Funk 49 video, and we've got a couple new videos from our last show at the Hard Rock Cafe that we can't wait to finish editing and get out to you. We love Tracy. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the folks and let them know a little bit about what you do here in Las Vegas, because you're certainly a godsend and a trusted resource for Sherry and I, and we love what you do. Why don't you tell America what you do?
Well, I do marketing, PR, promotion, management, and booking for local bands and musicians here in Las Vegas. And my goal as a business person and a supporter of the arts and the artists and musicians is to make sure that musicians are working and being treated properly by venues, and I make this my point of supporting artists and really helping them develop their craft on the business end of it.
We love that. It's indispensable. It takes a village to raise a band, right?
Yes, it does.
So
and keep them working.
Indeed. So both of you, welcome to the show. Let's jump in. We'll cover quite a few topics. We'll keep you here for a little bit, and we're going to play music in between some talk breaks here and try to weave it all together and make it beautiful for our listeners. Marketing the creative mind. What can you tell us about that? Let's just come right out of the gate.
Sure.
With saddles blazing. Dan,
absolutely.
Take it away.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Marketing the creative mind has so far, we have designed 6 different, what we call them classes, different people of different ages and cultures, and we are all different. We're all wired different. Some of us like the word seminar. Some of us like the word event. Some of us like the word class. My last name is Schinder. I call it a shindig. My VP of Strategy and Communications hates that because she says it sounds too backwoods, but it's a place where people within any point of the spectrum of the arts, Jeff and everybody, can come and learn income empowerment for those of us who think with our right brain. And, I just want to mention something on what Tracy was saying and why I recruited her to be the guest speaker for this particular class, which this first one is called Establishing Your Ground. And I'll get into what it's about, but the fit that Tracy brings to the table is when we met, we followed each other on Facebook for a bit, but then we met in person, and she comes from the business side of the counter, so to speak. So I thought she'd be perfect as a PR person and a talent agent and a manager to speak to the class about why the stuff you're learning is so important from her perspective as a person that's going to represent you. And the other reason why it's so important what she does and why it's so important that the people she represents do have their act together is because, and I've been a musician all my life. I'll preface what I'm going to say next with that. But quite frankly, especially in a place like Vegas, everybody, it's too easy to get replaced as a live musician by a DJ or by karaoke or by programmed music. And Vegas, I've only been here 6 years, but I've been in touch with Vegas for years and years. My wife is an artist. She's been here since '87. And there's a lot of live music that's gone. My wife and I my wife has a huge jazz collection. And when we first started going out and stuff, we wanted to go to jazz clubs. All the places she used to go to were gone when I moved here 6 years ago. So it's really important. Tracy's job and people that do what Tracy does is really important. But it's also extremely important for us as the talent to act like business people and not let the whole thing of performing and creating and hanging out and partying get to our heads and make us think like, well, I don't need to know that stuff. I have an agent. I got a manager. I got a booking agent. I got a PR person. They can only represent you as well as you conduct yourself. And that goes even way beyond if you don't have a drug problem, I hope you don't. If you don't have an alcohol problem, I hope you don't. There's still so much more that falls in the bucket of having your bleep together. And that's what we teach, because all of us that are creative, whether you're a painter or a sculptor or a musician or a sound engineer, producer, the culinary arts, the healing arts, web designer, anybody, Jeff, we were all born with creativity. We've cultivated and polished and massaged our talents. But doing business and what it takes to do business is really acquired knowledge. And we really have to exercise that left side of our brain. And quite honestly, my experience of being in music, TV, film, and video production for 35 years, and my wife being an artist her whole life, we recognize, and we're part of the same community, we recognize that most creative people, and I'm curious on Tracy's feedback on this since she works with the talent side, our right side of our brain is so big, we think so much with the creative part that it pushes the left side all the way against the wall of our cranium, and we don't use it. And that's why a lot of musicians, a lot of artists are just on foo-foo mode so much, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but so many of us operate in the artsy-fartsy stratosphere that we're not grounded in the things that it takes to do the simple things to do business. And that's why the class is called Establishing Your Ground. But if you don't mind, I want to throw it to Tracy. Like in your journey, all these years of working with talent, what's the number one common denominator that might not be on the positive side?
People that just think gigs are going to come to them and they don't really have to do anything. I've noticed over the last 20 years being in music, being in radio, being in business, that it's the go-getters right now that are getting the work. The people that do have that business mind as well as the creative mind working at the same time. They're out there pursuing the gigs, being professional while also having fun and being a musician. It's not the day that you could just party all night, wake up, and go to the next gig anymore. You
Right.
actually have to get out there and work hard on both ends. Not only do you have to be talented, you also have to be responsible. And I think that's something that's changed over the years, as you've probably noticed the difference. People
Right.
could get away with it 20, 30 years ago. And somebody would handle them and make sure that they would go to the gig and have the gig. Now you have to take care of yourself. It's too competitive.
Yeah.
There are too many people that are coming up that are playing great, that have the ability to do it. And the ones that have more of the business mind working as well as the creative mind are going to get the gigs.
Right. And you know what? Tracy is so right, because there's two reasons that qualify exactly what she just said. And one of them she said is that it's so competitive. The other reason is that since 20, 30 years ago, it is all business now. And the companies, whether it's a record label, whether it's a venue, whether it's management, a management group or a PR group, whether it's the manufacturers of the instruments you play or the products you use in whatever form of the arts you're involved in, they are limiting their liabilities. And they want to associate themselves with people that have their act together. How many athletes have been pulled off of a box of Wheaties because of spousal abuse or alcohol addiction or, whatever their issues were? And it's because it's all business. And Jeff, you said something in the intro I want to point out to everybody that's also quite poignant. Everything we're talking about, and because we're on a music station, and we're gearing up for training people for NAM, we are going to use kind of the vertical market of musicians generically right now. But again, whether you're a painter, sculptor, a dancer, singer, whatever form of the arts, but like Jeff said, any business that you're in, everything we're talking about applies to any business, whether it's a shoe store, a potato chip factory, or you rent boats at Lake Mead. It's all the same. I've chosen the niche of working with creative people because that's my background. That's the background of a couple other people that work for me. And we know, I think that differentiates us from other people that have been business coaching for 10, 20, 30 years, but they don't understand the creative mind. And that is what we address because we understand the deficiency. And I don't mean deficiency in a negative way. Some of us just don't know things. I don't know how to fly a plane. If I wanted to know, I would learn. And if you want to do business, learn how to do business and be better business people. Sell more shirts, sell more CDs, get more gigs, get more students, get more dancing gigs, sell more paintings, whatever it is. That's how we give people the tools to be able to do that.
Lovely. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, thank you.
So as a musician, and we've got lots of musicians now that all their ears are perked up now. You've got their attention. They're sitting right over there on the edge of their seats. What's the first step in changing your paradigm and kind of getting out of the, I don't want to say old rock star mode, but the, pushing the responsibilities onto a manager, an agent, or whatever, and beginning to become accountable for your own propelment?
Right. The first step is to make the check out to, no, I'm kidding. The first step really is to embrace the concept. We are all averse to different things. Some of us are averse to vegetables. Some drummers are averse to practicing and learning rudiments. Some people are averse to heights. A lot of creative people are averse to sales, marketing, promotion, and accounting. Well, I have an accountant. Great. How do you know if it's a good accountant if you don't know anything about your local and federal state tax laws or anything about accounting? How do you understand what they're trying to tell you? Same thing with an agent, and PR, everything that Tracy does. How will you understand what she's trying to explain to you if you don't know at least a little bit about that? So there's a couple exercises that I do in establishing your ground to get people past these aversions they might have towards sales, promotion, and marketing. And it comes from NLP. I'm also a certified trainer of neuro-linguistic programming. And there's a concept called toward and away. And you get what you focus on. So, Jeff, if you and myself and Tracy go skydiving one day, and we all jump out of a plane, with parachutes, of course, and there's a target and there's a barn 100 yards away. If you and Tracy are floating down with your chutes on saying, hit the target, I'm going to hit the target, I know I'm going to hit that target, and I'm floating down saying, oh, God, don't hit the barn, don't hit the barn, don't hit the barn, you two are going to hit the target, and I sure as heck am going to hit the barn because the brain cannot process a negative. It doesn't understand don't. It hears me say the command, hit the barn, hit the barn, hit the barn. How many times did you set something down and say, okay, don't forget it's there, or don't lose my keys, or don't forget this, or don't trip over that, or don't drop all this stuff I'm carrying? Rather than turning it into the positive command, remember that it's there. Keep walking steady. Hold on to all this stuff. That's just how the brain works. So I teach some exercises that teach people to, rather than focus on what they're trying to move away from by saying, Don't get stage fright. You're going to get stage fright rather than saying, go out there and be confident. Go out there and love it. Go out there and have fun. Nerves of steel, nerves of steel. It's all in the language because our language, our brain processes the language into our emotions, and it all translates into our actions as well. So we work some of these things into the teaching, and I hope I'm not getting too like crazy academic or anything, because that's not how I am. It's not how the class is. But these are some of the tools that we use to embrace the things that people are just not used to doing. The class is really fun, but it's also understanding to be objective. If you're a musician and you write a song, you go into the studio and you record it, what do? You sit back with the producer in the control room, you listen back. You listen to the drum sounds as you get in. You listen to the guitar sound, whether it's rhythm or lead. There's a distinct sound you want to get for that lead guitar. You want the right bass sound, the vocals, all those things. And you learn, hopefully, to be somewhat objective and be able to say, man, that sucks. We got to do that. Let's do that over. Let's change the head on that snare. Let's use a different mic. Hey, can you EQ that differently? Do the same thing with business. We teach people how to have a proper business card. And I know some of you are out there rolling your eyes. I got a business card. Look at your business card. I have a box of hats and I put a hat on. Try it on. Be the consumer. Be the person you're handing the card to. Can you read it? If they don't know anything about you, does it make sense? Does it say who you are, what you do? We teach people how to brand themselves, Jeff. And branding is different than, it's not marketing. It's not promotion. It's not an image. A brand is a promise. It's who you are. As a company, a lot of people associate the word brand with big companies like McDonald's and Chevron and Target. Yeah, of course those are brands, but we all need a brand. And we teach people how to come up with a business name that makes sense. And yes, if you're a one-man show, a one-man business, if you're a studio drummer, if you teach violin lessons, if you're a dancer, if once you cross that line that you're selling your services, you're getting paid for what you do, you're a business. Helps you write a lot of stuff off too. But the thing is once you cross that line, then you got to brand yourself. Come up with an image. Come up with a name. We teach people how to write a mantra. A mantra is 3 words. What's Nike's mantra? It's just do it. What's Burger King's? Have it your way. Chevy is like a rock. Winston Cigarettes is smoke this crap and kill yourself. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, that's not it. But you
Nice.
You get the idea, though, and so we teach people how to move from the mantra to a tagline. Those should all be attached to your marketing and promoting. We teach people, and this is the big aha moment, everybody, we teach people how to write a mission statement, a value statement, a vision statement for the future, and a profile statement. All of those are for public consumption and for your employees, partners, shareholders. Even if you're a tiny company or a sole proprietor, the profile statement, though, is not for public consumption. It is the who's who, the what's what you do, how you're going to do it, where you're going, so that you can apply for grants and loans and work with investors and things like that. But we teach people how to do this. And when they do this, they realize, and it happens to me. When I started this company, I thought of this idea a year ago, but then I thought of Drum Talk TV at the same time, and Drum Talk TV just took off, and within 6 months I had followers from 70 countries, and now 500,000 people are aware of our brand, and it's just turned into a thing I never envisioned. And now when I sat down and I said, okay, now it's time to launch Marketing the Creative Mind, because I'm going to take everything I've learned, not just from my 35 years of experience, but how I put it together and made Drum Talk TV what it was. I went through the same thing. I wrote a mantra, a tagline, mission statement, all those things. And it really gives you direction. It helps you figure out where you're going, how you're going to do it, and why. And from there, it can develop your branding, come up with a logo, but things like the business cards, all of those things are just drops of water, but it takes a lot of drops of water to come up with a nice body of water like Lake Mead or the ocean. And they're all important. And when we teach this in the class, it's a lot of fun, because at first everyone's like, man, like I really need to know this. Like I need to know how to leave a voicemail announcement. Let me tell you something. If you teach music lessons, it doesn't matter what instrument it is. And if you have youngsters that are, young teens or even little kids, you don't want to have some some crazy music on there and say, yo, this is Joe rocking out for the day. Sit back, have a cocktail, and I'll call you when I can. You know, if I'm a parent calling my kid's music teacher, probably going to find a different music teacher. And I know you got your image to rep yourself with your buds and your fellow musicians and all that, but you're only as good as your living legacy, and your living legacy is your actions, behaviors, and implements, how you implement things as a professional person. And it doesn't make you square. It doesn't make you unhip. It makes you more money. You know, something you said, Jeff, speaks volumes. And when you talked about other musicians or people in the arts or anybody in business that's resentful of someone else having more success that may not have the same talent or skill sets or abilities, there's two things there. One is, and I don't mean to intrude on anybody's beliefs, and I don't talk a lot about my beliefs, but I do believe that you need to open yourself up to the universe to let stuff in. And when you resent other people, you're closing doors for yourself. But the other thing is that, you know, you're right. It's because they had a lot of these things in place. And whether you paint or build cars, or whether you're a studio musician or you tour and you put out CDs, whatever you do, your product is almost completely incidental to whether or not you're going to be successful. And that is evident by some of the stuff on the radio, some of the stuff on television, and some of the stuff in the movies. No, it wasn't just because they had money. It still took the right people with the right plan to market it, brand it, promote it, and sell it. And if you can do that for yourself and you've got a great product, that's huge. And that's what a big part of what we teach. I mean, those are very, very important things. And, you know, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I was in my early 20s and I was playing all over LA and Hollywood and everything. You know, my parents were extremely supportive, but they would say, what are you going to do when this is done? What are you going to fall back on? And we're all at some point in our life as creatives where we can't even fathom that. And at the time I couldn't. I said, you know, there is no end. What do you mean? I'm just going to keep doing that. And of course, I think now that illusion can be even more severe because we've got, well, at least for myself, my favorite rock stars, and everybody's in their 60s and 70s now, you know, and it's like, yeah, I can do this forever. Yeah, but can you make a living at it? So I implore you to consider learning these things now so that you can create other streams of income now while you're feeding your passionate machine now, and also to help you so that when you need to step into a situation like Jeff explained, you're prepared for it. He told me a story. I hope you don't mind me just throwing this out there, but you told me a story of having to brand something 15 years after a company was in business. And that's okay because we rebrand sometimes. I did it with Drum Talk TV 4 months after I started it because I recruited somebody by the name of Lori Shube, and she's our VP of Strategy and Communications. And she's just a genius when it comes to this stuff. And she said, I think you need to redo your branding. And thankfully, instead of me saying, and when I say the branding, I mean the logo, the look, the styling, all that, because it translated and transcended from the business card to the look of the interviews. And when you go to drumtalktv.com and look at some interviews, you'll see the older ones, how different they look. And I easily could have said, oh, but I spent so much time and money coming up with that. and it really says me, all of that, but I'm never going to buy anything from me. I hardly have to like it. I want everyone else to like it so that it's hip and current and attractive. Even I teach this stuff, and even with Marketing the Creative Mind, there's a couple of people that are going to come to the class or that I'm working with personally on a one-on-one basis right now who are seeing this presentation for the second time. The whole PowerPoint presentation, the logo, everything's different now because we changed that too. So my point is, if you have a business card, if you have a website, whatever packaging you have, be bold enough to change it to what's going to work. Don't become too attached to it with your sensibilities. Let that be your art form, not how it's packaged and sold. So that's really important. And I hope you don't mind me asking if people please go to our Facebook page. I'm kind of spoiled because with Drum Talk TV, we just hit 14,000 likes, I think, last night. And on a sister page, I've helped it grow from 1,500 to 109,000 likes in only 18 months. And on our Marketing the Creative Mind page, we're just creeping up to 100 because it's a brand new thing. So, if you're not ready to dig in and come to a class, if you're not ready to call Tracy or myself or email us, and we'll give all that out to do this one-on-one, at least follow what we're doing and take some nuggets away. I have a blog called Thinking Sideways, and I know that I don't know everything, and I put out plenty of third-party information by a lot of business gurus out there, and many from the creative world as well. So there's a lot to learn. It's facebook.com/Marketing the Creative Mind. But I get really excited about this because going down this road and learning all this stuff has really worked for me. And I feel bad and I cringe when I hear people complain that they don't have enough drumming students or they're not getting enough gigs or they're not getting paid enough. And none of this is hard to do. Is it hard work to implement and keep going? It's hard work. You have to keep at it. You don't want to lose your audience. You don't want to back away from it. But none of it's hard to learn. And as long as you embrace it, it's all easy. And it's all really important stuff. Again, when we think about getting ready for NAMM, don't show up there and there'll be opportunities you're losing that you never even knew about. Learn to present yourself. Learn to even approach people. Tracy and I were talking before we came on, and we're going to infuse some stuff into this, especially for people that are going to NAMM. So please come to this class and learn a thing or two. And feel free to share your successes of things you've done like this with us. Message it to us. You can email it to me at dan@marketingthecreativemind.com. Send me your story. We'd be happy to publish it on the Facebook page and talk about it because we want to help people with what we know, with what we do. And we get results. I've never had to give a refund. And I've had 8 private clients, 2 of them very big companies. One's a very popular drum company, accessory manufacturer, and they, after being on Facebook, had 170 likes. And which is not impressive, by the way, for those of you that don't know. But after 6 months of working with them, we got it up to 11,000 likes. That's a 700% increase. And they then convert those to sales. But the great thing is they now knew how to do that. And the bigger you grow your audience, the reason why that's important is because if you, the guitar player that has product to sell, and me as Drum Talk TV, Tracy as being a PR person, McDonald's hamburger, Chevron oil, if we only can ever convert 5% of the people aware of our brand into customers, if we can't change that 5% factor, we have to increase the audience size of what that 5% is of and how many people are aware of us. So building your audience is so important. By the way, that increase from 1,500 likes to 109,000, not one penny was spent on Facebook advertising. I've become kind of good at coming up with a formula that fits the personality of the page, the purpose of the page, the personality of the company, because it's different for everybody. I couldn't take that exact formula and apply it to Drum Talk TV. I had to tweak it, massage it, work with it, and in 6 months we had followers in 70 countries, and And I guess it's been 9 months now. We're at 14,000 likes. And it took a lot of work, but we can do that for you too, so that you can then convert those people to sign up for your mailing list, for your website, so that when you put out a newsletter that talks about where you're going to be playing and what's for sale, you're slowly going to work your way into their hearts and they're going to buy your stuff. And it's all in how you present yourself.
Amen. Amen. Amen, my friends.
Yes, sir.
All right. Why don't we let's wrap this up by giving out links. And if we got anything to pimp, like Tracy, if Scott's got some gigs with some other projects, if we want to promote any of that, let's do it right now. Let's give any links that we want to give so that people can bookmark this stuff.
Sure, I'll let Tracy
we'll mention, and then we'll mention the event and where it's at again at the end.
Okay.
We'll cruise out to some music.
Okay, to see where Scott Coogan is playing next, besides he's a drummer at the Blue Man Group, so you can always catch him there at the Monte Carlo Casino and Hotel. But he also has a Facebook page that has all of his gigs. It's facebook.com/Scott Coogan, spelled ScottCoogan. And some gigs he has coming up. He has a show on the 21st of December, Saturday the 21st, at Vince Neil's new club in the Circus Hotel. Eat, Drink, Party, and it's with Vinyl Tattoo, which is a show that features Scott Coogan on drums, Frank Domino of Angel on vocal, and Oz Fox of Striper on guitar. And he's got another great gig coming up at the Power Station Casino in the Chrome Showroom with Let It Rock, which is a new 80s glam metal review with Stacey Blades of the LA Guns, and Jamie St. James of Black and Blue, Oz Fox of Striper, Scott Coogan on drums, and also our bass player is from Dockin, Sean McNabb, who's played with you before, Jeff. So lots of good stuff coming up for Scott. And for myself, my business is called Rockin' Las Vegas, and you can find me on the web at www.Rockin' Las Vegas, ROCKINLASVEGAS.com. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Rockin' Las Vegas. You can see all of the bands that I'm currently working with and booking around town, and musicians that I love to work with, and I try and promote everybody equally and make sure my bands are taken care of and treated properly at venues.
That's right.
I'm supposed to follow that?
Yeah, I was going to say, let me tell Trey, that's why Sherry and I love you. So, Dan, yes, you're supposed to follow that. Good luck.
Okay. I'll start with Drum Talk TV. If you want to see fun interviews with your favorite drummers and get turned on to new drummers that you might not be familiar with, and some great educators like Don George, Neil Peart's very first drum teacher, did an interview with him in Canada. A lot of your favorites from different genres of music. There's about 40 interviews up. We got 70 filmed that are on the way, and we're going to be filming a lot with manufacturers this time around. So you may see me at NAMM, but go to drumtalktv.com. And at the YouTube channel, you can also see a lot of the funny previews I get. A lot of these artists that we all see as larger than life to do really goofy, funny stuff with me, including Carmine Appice. Thank you, Carmine, being so goofy with me. And that is youtube.com/drumtalktv channel. And for Marketing the Creative Mind, if you email me and want to take a class in private, whether it's online or in person, we can do that all in one whack of 6 to 8 hours, or we can break it up into separate sessions. My email is dan@marketingthecreativemind.com. That's also the website, of course, marketingthecreativemind.com. And it's going through a big expansion right now. But right now there's some cool blog articles there, a couple of events that we've published. We've got a few other things in the works. And the YouTube channel for that is youtube.com/marketingthecreative, because they only give you so many characters. And please like our Facebook and pass it around to anybody that you think is serious enough about what they're doing to want to learn what they don't already know, or to learn what they want to get better at, to follow us at facebook.com/marketing the creative mind. And we really appreciate it. And, feel free to look me up on Facebook. It's just Dan.Shinder, Shinder. That's my personal page. If you want to suggest pages to like, I've never not liked a page that someone invites me to. I believe in supporting the arts and all of us in the arts, whether you're locally here in Las Vegas or whether you're all over the world. I will absolutely like your page personally, and also through Marketing and Creative Mind. We're happy to do that. And we'd love to see you at the class this Saturday. If you can't make it or you live too far away, we'd love to do a personal session with you and be a part of your success. Guaranteed.
Well, again, thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much, Tracy. I look forward to seeing you guys Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's
All right.
BYOB, by the way. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Dude, and I will say that to everybody. Please come absolutely uninebriated. Come ready to learn, ready to soak it up, and come with an open mind, and come with a big notebook. And if you're a husband and wife, we'll even give you a 2-for-1. If your wife is your partner or your husband does the business part, you got a dynamic like that, email us, let us know. We support that, and we want the better note taker there for sure, even if that's not the creative one. And we PayPal, and it's all on the Eventbrite site.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. This has been great. It's been great and informative. And friends, if you love this, share this with your friends. Share the Spreaker widget after we sign off live and worldwide tonight. This will become a streaming podcast. You can share it and share it again. Share it with all your music friends. And you're going to have to, because those of us that are learning these tricks are going to use them, and we're going to be the ones out there rocking. So keep your eye out.